Yo, sup? It's your boy Ny3 again. Today I'm uploading on a different channel. This is a DN Warriors channel. On this channel we have several high-rated dueling network players throughout the formats, and is where we're going to upload some competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content such as high-rated dueling network games. Now, first of all, Merry Christmas everybody. Today I'm going to be giving a deck profile on my Zing Zefra deck that a lot of you guys might have seen me play on high-rated DN. So let's get started with the deck profile. Now first up, I'm running a Zing tuner lineup of all 6. So I'm not cutting any corners with the tuners because you have to have access to at least one of these guys to go into your combos, since most of the extra deck are all white monsters. Now, these guys also have additional effects that allow us to extend our combos. They all have effects that increase board advantage, and that is what combos are all about. They are also floaters, so they're great on the defense, and they can be popped with one of our new field spells, Sky Iris, which I will get into. Next up, I am running a Zing non-tuner count of 7. Now these guys are also multi-use. Having Zing in its name, they can be discarded with Jiaotu. They also are all floaters for defensive purposes. They can also synchro summon on your opponent's turn for disruption purposes. Now these guys have decent attack points, these 4 on the bottom, while our 0 attack Zings are able to summon them from the deck in attack mode when they are destroyed. So you always have constant access to beaters if you don't open that optimally. These guys also grant us effects such as spell immunity, trap immunity, battle immunity, and plus 500 to our synchro monsters when we synchro with them. So that's just some additional uses for them. Now I used to run only 11 Zings in total before we have had Sky Iris come out in the most recent structure deck, and now I've upped it to 13 because I wanted to increase the targets for Sky Iris to pop, since I was realizing that quite often I drew the Sky Iris but not a single Zing to destroy. Now getting into the pendulums, our low scales, I'm currently only running 4, and that's because our Odd Eyes is so easily accessible with Sky Iris, which we always want to resolve, while Zefra's downside effect that is being shuffled to the bottom of the deck if he uses this effect to make something else a tuner means we should probably never run out of low scales in the grind game should it happen. Now also I'm running Zefra over any of the other good low scale monsters. Could be generic low scale such as Magical Abductor, or our Zefra low scale such as Zefra Thorben. Although they have good effects, they can clog because if you open double low scale, they're redundant with each other unless it's Zefra, which has multiple different uses. So Zefra, not only being a searchable low scale and having a decent monster effect, Zefra is also a Zing, so you can discard it with Jiaotu if you open Zefra with other low scales. Getting into the high scales, I am currently running 7. And that is 3 Eccentric, 1 Zefraxiton, 3 Zefra New. Now I'm running the Zefraxiton It has multiple different uses such as block back row, being a searchable scale 7, but mostly it's because we never really want to use our Zefra New as a scale 7, so that's why I'm running the additional Zefra to search off another field spell, Oracle of Zefra. So we don't have to burn through our Zefra News by using them as a scale. But if you do happen to open Zefra New, has multiple different uses, being a scale, being the best Zefra overall, since he searches your Yang or Zefra spell and traps when you pendulum summon him, and he can also be discarded for Jiaotu. Now we want as much Zefra New in the deck as possible, and they're gonna be, hopefully, in the course of a game, rapidly summoned out by our Yang effects, most notably Jiaotu. And that's why I'm running such a larger high scale count than the low scale count, because ideally all three of these are being used as monsters, so we only have our 4 high scales. So getting into the spells, first up we have the lineup of 6 field spells, and the best card in my opinion in the deck, the 3 terraformings that access our 6 field spells. Now Chicken Game has quite a few uses. We'll talk about that last. Oracle of Zefra is able to search high scales, is able to search low scales, is able to search cards through the Discardful of Jiaotu, so it has multiple different uses. Its secondary effect being if you synchro summon with a Zefra, you can put any monsters from your deck to the top of your deck. Now, these can be hand traps, which you can use Chicken Game later on to draw immediately on the same turn, which is a very good piece of synergy. Sky Iris, on the other hand, can only search low scales right now. It will be able to search high scales in the future, as there is a scale 8 Odd Eyes coming out. But Sky Iris is what gets us to our Jiaotu quickly and consistently on the first turn, or on the second turn onwards, without wasting our battle phase to crash a Yang for Jiaotu. And that opens up a lot of OTKs on the turn. Now, the best card of the deck, which is Terraforming, not only can it search an Upstart Goblin, it can also search our low scale, our Jiaotu, our high scale, our Yang discard. So the versatility of Terraforming, it gets to pretty much every single card in the deck. And that is why I say it's the best deck. Now Chicken Game has an additional effect, and that is the player with lower life points does not take any damage, which means you can crash your Yang one after the other into your opponent's monsters without losing anything. Now for the rest of the spells, I have our triple Upstart Goblin and double Yang Path. And again, like every other card in the deck, they have multiple different uses. Now Upstart Goblin being able to not only just, draw a card, instantly replace itself. Upstart Goblin is also able to act just as a Chicken Game, and that is immediately draw our stacked card when we synchro summon with Oracle up. Yang Path, again, 2 different uses, one being the obvious Pot of Avarice use, and the other one being a Jiaotu discard. So even if you do draw this early game, quite likely, if you have access to the Jiaotu, it will not be a brick card in the early game. As for trap cards, I'm currently running 2. Now, Zefra Divine Strike is our only single-purpose card in the whole deck. It is the card that we never want to open. If you open it, you are pretty screwed. Now, Zefra Divine Strike is just there so we can search it mid-combo to make our combo much better than it is. And since I wanted a second trap card in the deck, a second searchable trap card in the deck to do something on the opponent's turn, I opted to run the Zing Creation. Now, it's not a very good card. In fact, it's pretty terrible. But it was the only other option available, because I definitely did not want to run a second Zefra Divine Strike since opening it was so bad. So I decided to run the Zing Creation. It helps quite a bit in the Cosmo matchup, and only the Cosmo matchup, I think. Zing Creation has multiple purposes, which is why I chose the Zing Creation, because again it has Zing in its name. You can discard it with Gel 2. And that's the main deck done. For the extra deck and the side deck, now currently I am running a 16 card side and a 14 card extra. That's because side deck is so tight right now, I had to put a side card in the extra deck. Now the main deck's main non-tuner is the Zefra Youth, and the main tuners are levels 1 and 2, which means the deck can pump out level 7 and level 8 synchros with ease. And that is why I'm not running a lot of lower level synchros and only picking the best low level synchros to run. So I'm only running one level 4, that's Herald of the Arclight. Herald of the Arclight, that is battle immune, is a floodgate in itself. It's a mini macrocosmos, and you can tribute it to negate anything you want, while at the same time, our boss monster Baxia can continuously recycle it back. I'm only running one level 5 high-speed Ray Chamber Rider. Most of the time you're going to be making Chamber Rider with Suwani, giving it a 500 boost, so his attack twice ability is going to let him do 5,600 damage by himself, and a lot of my OTKs end with Chamber Rider. I'm only running the one level 6, and that is Metaphys Horus. Now, whether Metaphys Horus is the best level 6 or not, that is debatable, but since we are running pendulums, such as our Zefraxiton, which is also an effect monster, we're going to be able to get 2 different effects of Metaphys Horus at the same time if we synchro with a pendulum effect monster. And that gets us out of impossible to get out of situations quite often. Now, Metaphys Horus's monster taking effect does not target, so it's a good out to some of the annoying cards this format. And now we're getting into our level 7s. So I'm running the Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. It lets us OTK through anything annoying, and we're talking damage juggler specifically, but sometimes other battle stoppers, damage reducers do come up. So Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon is usually what I summon at the end of big OTK combos to guarantee the OTK, especially when I'm doing it through Maxi or something and they're almost guaranteed to have drawn one. Now, the other one is Yazi and Ancient Fairy Dragon. Now these we're getting into the combo pieces now. Ancient Fairy Dragon toolboxes all of our field spells, just like Terraforming, but it's an extra deck version of Terraforming. Ancient Fairy Dragon also lets us access our side decked Floodgate field spells easier in games 2 and 3. And Yazi, obviously, when he is destroyed, he can summon a Zing from our deck. So when I can't get access to Gel 2 because I didn't have the Sky Iris, Yazi is what I usually go for pop itself and a card on your opponent's side of the field and access to Gel 2. Sometimes if you get the right buffs on Yazi, the opposing deck can't get rid of it, but since Ignista is a thing right now, I don't really think that tactic is... I don't really recommend that tactic, where you just sit on everything except Ignista immune Yazi. Level 8s, I'm running 5 level 8s. And that is Ignista, Triple Baxia, Void Ogre. Now Triple Baxia are the synchros I summon the most in deck. You know, this... if you see any of my duels, almost all of them, if I did not brick, is going to end in Triple Baxia. So these are all combo pieces. Void Ogre is what I usually summon instead of Meteor Burst if I am going first. So it's another combo piece for our good first turn setups. And Ignista is really good this format. There's a lot of things that can't be targeted, and we can easily make it with our level 6 Pendulum Non-Tuner Zefra. The rest of the synchros are 2 level 9s, that is 1 Trishula and 1 Chalfing. Trishula is a great non-targeting, non-destruction removal effect once again. Being level 9 does make it much harder to summon, but it does have its moments now and then. Now, Chalfing Phantom of the Yangzing is the level 9 that can be made with only 2 materials, so this guy comes in handy quite a lot when I brick. He has several different effects, which makes him a very versatile synchro to make when things aren't going well. Now I also make him when I have spare chi wins, you know, make a Chalfing that is preventing the activation of all your opponent's light monsters, and that's just an alternative way to kill your opponent when they have Damage Juggler in hand, because Damage Juggler is a light type or light attribute monster. So yeah, Chalfing is very versatile. Now, I'm currently running 2 Exceed monsters, Divine Dragon Knight Falgren and Alcei the Sylvan High Protector. This is that 16th card in the side deck that I'm talking about. So I pretty much never summoned this guy game 1. He's only here because I ran out of side deck space, and I am side decking an Alcei. Well, I do want to side deck an Alcei. The Divine Dragon Knight Falgren is what I usually make when I have Triple Baxia or something along the lines on the field, because Triple Baxia does not offer anything on your opponent's turn. I mean, they're great. Each of them generates a +1 or +2 on your own turn with its Monster Reborn effect for level 4s and lower, but that's quite excessive, so I like to convert them into some form of destruction on my opponent's turn. That is why I quite often overlay double Baxia for the Falgren. And that's our extra deck. On to the side deck. I'm currently siding 3 extra deck monsters. 4 if you include the Alcei. Telemaios, Diamond, and Durandal. Now this is for this is just a counter to Maxi. If you guys don't know the combo, you could probably search it up on YouTube somewhere and people would have gone over this combo, but pretty much it combos with the Draw and Luck Bird to counter Maxi. Other monsters I am siding include the 1 Zefra Thorben and the 1 Tautai. Now Tautai is mainly here as a counter to Gozen Match. Since he is dark, Jiao2 is dark, Yazi is also dark. So you can play out of Gozen Match with the Tautai. I usually side him in against any mono attribute deck, even if I'm not sure if they're siding Gozen Match or not. So yeah, he's just there for that. Now the Zefra Thorben is able to pop face-ups, so he's a great searchable out to some of the face-up floodgates. We're talking lose one turn, we're talking Vanity's Fiend. So Zefra Thorben is there for that. Now since we can stack hand traps to the top of our deck with Oracle of Zefra, I'm running one Flying Sea and one Drawing Lockbird. Now, one-offs you might think, you're never gonna see it, but since we can stack it to the top with Oracle, I think one is a good number so you don't open multiples and end up clogging. Now, we can side any flying traps. We can side any hand traps we want, but right now I think Flying Sea is the only one that actually does something. Again, Vela isn't doing that much this format. Ghost Ogre is a maybe. Maxi is, I think not yet for Maxi, maybe next format. As for Floodgate Field Spells, since we have such high searchability again with our Terraformings and our Ancient Fury Dragons, I'm siding the one Necro Valley, one Zombie World. Zombie World obviously for Magic Spectres, Necro Valley, they're mainly for any Infernoids still running around. And you can get away with siding one of them. You don't want to open multiples or even open any at all. But you do want the option to search these blowout floodgates when you do have the combo. Well, I'm also siding triple MST. It's just good against back row decks, floodgate decks, side deck staple. And the final three cards are three Wavering Eyes. These are mainly here so I can bargain with my opponent so we could mutually side out the Wavering Eyes. But if they do disagree, I will side these in because this card is just stupid. It has to go. It has to get immediately banned. It's single-handedly ruining the format, and whoever draws it wins. No exceptions. But yeah, that's the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Check out my channels if you want some explanations on the combos, and subscribe to this channel if you would like to see some competitive Duel Links Network matches. And once again, Merry Christmas.